A recent study has revealed that cruisers who do this are more happy than cruisers who do not. And Carnival has come out and said, look, we understand that there's a trivial problem out there, but we're not going to address it. We're not going to address it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lita Loca. I am your host, Tony, your guide into all things going on in cruising. And we have some interesting stories for you today. But what day is it? It is Monday the 2nd of September, 2024. And it's Labor Day. It's a holiday here in the United States. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Hope you're having a relaxing day off if you're off. And if you're working, I hope your labor is pleasant. There are some people out there that probably were disappointed today because they got notified that their Alaskan cruise has been canceled. And it's a little interesting story here. Guests that are booked on the NCL Bliss for the very first sailing of the 2025 Alaskan season on that cruise ship, that was supposed to happen April the 2nd, 2025. They've been notified that their cruise has been canceled because of fleet redeployment. They're redeploying the Bliss for 1 week only. So the Bliss will do its Alaskan season next year, but instead of kicking off on the 2nd of April, it's going to kick off on the 12th of April. Guests are being refunded all of their cruise fare and any excursions that they booked. And for a consolation prize, they have been given a 10% future cruise credit so that they can book another cruise. The article I was reading speculated that maybe the ship had been chartered out. Like the article I was reading was like, what does this mean, redeployment? I don't know. It happens all the time. If you're a frequent cruiser, and this is probably good for new cruisers to hear, the truth of the matter is these cruise companies are making decisions all the time. Most of the time, the itineraries and the seasons are set and all of that, but occasionally it might make a better, choice or business sense to move a ship, do a different thing, that kind of thing. And sometimes it does impact guests. That's certainly what happened. Were you on the first sailing of the NCL Bliss next year in Alaska, April the 2nd, 2025? Did you get canceled? Leave a comment below. Now, our second story, unfortunately, follows the theme of our first story. Now let's talk about the Crown Princess. She also had a big old set of cancellations starting September the 26th, 2025, going all the way through January the 12th, 2026. Princess is canceling several cruises on board the Crown Princess. Unfortunately, due to the change in the scheduled dry dock maintenance for the Crown Princess, we are altering a small number of itineraries. The ship had a 27-night Australian cruise. It had a series of 3-night itineraries for Australia. And so guests that are being canceled, if possible, they're going to be rebooked onto a replacement sailing, which would be a like-for-like sailing. They're going to receive 300 Australian dollars for air and travel changes, plus an onboard credit of 200 Australian dollars. But if they can't be moved to a replacement voyage, they will be getting a refund, and they will, I think that's it. They'll be getting a refund for that cruise. And while we're talking about Australia, let's talk about a cruise ship that is steadfastly making its way to Australia, set to be in Sydney on September the 9th, the newly refurbished Carnival Splendor. Carnival Splendor really is supposed to signify Carnival's commitment to the Australian cruise market. They've added the new paint scheme to this cruise ship, and even the paint scheme includes the Southern Cross constellation, which is the constellation that's featured on the Australian flag. And so Carnival Corporation in general continues with a heavy commitment to Australia. A lot of times I've heard, though, it's like, oh, we just get old cruise ships over here in Australia. I could see that being frustrated, but certainly it's nice to see that this newly refurbished Splendor making her way to Australia. Any of my Australian friends out and about today, what do you think about these Australia stories? Good, bad, indifferent? Leave a comment below. So those are your newsy type stories for today. But, in addition to newsy type stories, there's always a little controversy going on in the cruising space. A lot of times that controversy has to do with Carnival Cruise Line. I think it's because Carnival airs their laundry out. Like they have a couple spots where they air their laundry out a little more so than the other cruise lines. So, you got to go where the dirty laundry is, I guess. But this controversy, I find, I've actually talked about this controversy before, and I've come up with a solution, and dagnabbit, they've never done my solution, but I'm going to put it out there again. There is an outcry on Carnival's social media over cruise ship trivia. And if you've ever been on a Carnival cruise trivia, here's what happens. You sit down and they give you a piece of paper with 20 lines on it. They ask you some trivia questions. Then you answer the trivia questions or you don't. And then at the end of the trivia activity, they say, hey, how many did you get right? And well, you can just say whatever you want. You could, there's 20 questions. You could be like, I got 35 right. And they're like, yeah, there's not even 35. How many questions? There's 20 questions. I got 20 right. And they're like, oh, okay, well, it doesn't seem odd at all, or like you're cheating. Here's a prize. And then the team that sat over there and got 19 right after racking their brain trying to, win the thing, they get nothing. They get nothing. And so this becomes a point of frustration. And people have reached out saying, look, there's obviously cheating going on here because people check their own papers and they can say whatever, and then you guys still give them out the plastic trophies. Is there going to be anything done about this? What say ye, Carnival? And well, Carnival said, what, are you really wanting us to police the trivia? And then they try to shame the cheaters, but you can't shame the cheaters. They're like, can you believe people would cheat on the trivia? Yes, one of the most coveted prizes is that ship on a stick. And you would say, okay, well, a real cheap ship on a stick. I got one. Look, these are the prize possessions on a Carnival cruise. It's got the ship name on it. And I can say I've never cheated at trivia to get these. A lot of these I just begged to get. Like, hey, can you just give me one? Which may have its own level of shame. But I never cheated for a trophy, but I would not cheat for a trophy, but people will. That's what I'm saying. If you were giving away a prize that wasn't coveted, and you wouldn't think these would be coveted, but they are. If you were giving away a prize that wasn't coveted, maybe people wouldn't cheat. But there's an easy solution. Just exchange papers like we did in the 3rd grade. It's the most simplest solution out there. Exchange papers, have somebody else grade the paper, and then the cheating essentially goes away. You got to do one of two things. You got to quit giving away the thing that people want, and that would suck because these are cool, or just have people grade each other's paper. But the original poster was like, can we report these people to the security team? And can we report these people to the captain? Can we send a letter to Congress? Do you think that law enforcement will step in over the cheating? Obviously, that seems a little ridiculous, but I do think there are levers that can be pulled to eliminate the cheating in Carnival trivia. Ooh, I think all that cheating talk's giving me a little agita. Let's talk about something more pleasant, okay? That's not really that unpleasant. Let's talk about a study that has outlined something that demonstrates that if cruisers do this, they are more happy than cruisers who don't do this. And I don't think it's going to be shocking, but again, this is not, it's like a full Australia day. Aussie, oi, oi, oi. It's like a full Australia day. Carnival Cruise Line did a study of Australian cruisers, and what they determined is that cruisers who do this are more happy than cruisers who do not. It seems a little marketing, like I'm just going to say that. But the finding was that people who have a cruise booked, or any holiday travel, vacation travel, if they have vacation travel booked, are more likely to be happy than people who have no vacation plans at all. Now, I don't know what the onus for Carnival to initiate this kind of survey, and certainly it does become a nice marketing thing, like, hey, you want to be happier, book a cruise, but the finding is not surprising. One of our friends, Tommy, has a podcast called Always Be Booked. And the premise is if you're always booked and you're always looking forward to a cruise vacation, then you have something to be excited about. And I talk about it. I use the term cruise blues, and not to be confused with Blues Clues. Cruise blues. Almost immediately when I get off a cruise ship, I feel sad that I'm no longer on a cruise ship. And one of the biggest ways that I get over that is the fact that I know that in X amount of days, I will get to cruise again. So I didn't know there was going to be a scientific study for it. And there is. Do you believe it? Do you believe that having a cruise booked in the future makes you feel happier, or you're indifferent to it? Thank you guys so much for checking out today's episode. Hope you're having a great Labor Day. Check out the recommended video next. I would be curious as to what YouTube is recommending. If you want to put that in the comments, what's your recommended video, and watch it. That would be helpful. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great Monday. Tony for La Lido Loca. Till next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Oh, I gotta polish my trophies. True. Bye.